So, how do you ROI from in-person conferences? This is a great question from a student in my SaaS Metrics Crash Course. So, let's talk about this today in SaaS Metrics School. So, we attend these conferences. Say we set up a booth, we go to these trade shows, we spend a lot of money usually to attend these trade shows, send our staff to these trade shows. So, how do we track the return on investment on that conference spend? And let's say we spend $200,000 to go to that conference, travel, the booth setup, all that great stuff. Now, what do we do with that spend? How do we track the ROI? Do we track MQLs, SQLs, just leads coming from that conference? And of course, all the above. So really, out of these conferences, if we spend $200,000, we want to create pipeline. We want to create opportunities in our pipeline from that conference. So really think about cohort analysis of tracking customers from the time they sign up. Same thing here. So the leads that you captured at that conference, it's like cohort analysis. We have to follow those leads through all the way to the end in either a closed won or closed lost opportunity. Now, of course, not all those leads will become a sales accepted lead, create an opportunity. But if we started with 100 leads, hopefully maybe 500 leads from that conference, as we track those 500 leads, how many end up in closed lost, closed won opportunities? Because really that closed won number, that's what we're looking for to determine the ROI on that conference. So if we spent 200,000 and then we generated 500,000 of pipe and that ended with 50,000 of closed won opportunities, then we've got to judge whether that conference makes sense. Of course, there are other things that go into conferences, goodwill. Sometimes you're expected to be there because it's a major trade show that you're usually at. But that's the big thing. And this can take time. Maybe, it depends on your sales cycle. If it takes 6 to 12 months, you could have a report set up in your CRM system to track the opportunities that are attributed back to that conference. And that's what you really need to look at. And again, if this is your first conference, that's going to take maybe 6 to 12 months to figure out, well, was that investment worth it to create the resulting pipeline and potential close one opportunities? So great question from a student in my SaaS Metrics Crash Course at my academy and thinking about the ROI on that conference spend.